Hello and welcome to a new episode of New Gameplay Today. I'm Ben Hansen. I'm not Jeff Cork or Leo Vader, and we aren't in Game Informer Studio, but this is still technically New Gameplay Today because I'm here with somebody very special, Mark Healy, Creative Director for Dreams.
Hi, how's it going?
What are we looking at, man?
We're looking at Dreams, and we're going to show you some of the levels that we've got from the campaign that comes in Dreams.
So this is the story for Dreams.
Yeah, a small snippet of it. The story that we've made is spread across 3 different kinds of genres. We've got a film noir inspired kind of section, and then we've got this sort of fantastic childhood fantasy sort of theme, sort of fairy tale / horror thing. And then we've got what we call the action theme, which is our sort of science fiction thread of the story. It probably sounds odd to have all those things in one story, but
yeah.
we've done it, or we've tried. And yeah, so I was just going to show you just a small selection of some of the levels just from the action theme here.
Okay.
So this is out of context of the story, and because of that we've removed some of the narration that would be on there in the story because it will be a bit confusing otherwise.
Okay.
One of the key points here is the story that we've made in Dreams is genuinely made with all the tools. So when you buy
No
Dreams,
BS, 100%.
No BS whatsoever. We are literally sitting in the studio using DualShocks and Move controllers to make the game.
Oh my gosh.
Literally. So, yep. And well, this is an example of one of the things that we've made. So we have this little character here called Debug, and if I hold down R2, look, I can unleash this kind of electrical charge.
It's so good. It's all the effects, everything.
It's
customizable.
All, yeah, but literally all made from like I think John recently added the sort of electrical sparks and things to this.
Yeah.
But originally the character's made by a guy called Steve, who's one of the sort of star creators from the Little Big Planet community actually. But this character is literally invented from scratch in the tool, so it's not like he's taken a character that we give you and modified it a bit, he's just invented it. So he's got like a jump, he's put a double jump in there and a hover mechanic where I can hold the button down. And the basic idea in this thread of the story is you have to hunt down these little pads and just charge them up to sort of wake the world up essentially. And then that line that gets charged up becomes your sort of guide through it. And there's lots of little side quests and things if you want to go hunting for secrets. Like this is a secret little challenge, for example, where you've got to sort of...
Just for context then, is this towards the beginning of the game
This is about a third of the way in maybe.
Okay.
So you start off with just this little robot, but as you go through the story you start waking up and discovering these other robots, and this is a little hint of a really big one that you'll get towards the end of the game.
You get to control?
At the end of the game you do, but here you don't. This is just a sort of like, wouldn't it be cool if you could control this? But unfortunately you haven't done the things you need to do yet. Yeah, so normally those levels would have been butted up against each other there.
That looks so good.
Yeah, so this is all, like I say, it's all genuinely made with the tools, so all the animation, the sound design, the sculpture, everything. It's a full comprehensive set of tools.
Even the camera movement.
Everything, yeah, literally everything. Oh.
Okay, so now...
So now we'd be like, okay, well you've got a broken heart, so part of the story is going to find him a new heart so he can wake up and we get to control him. Or her, I'm not sure what gender it is actually.
And so how much VO would there be normally? Like when people play this game, how contextualized is this entire framework?
In these particular scenes there tends to be just like a little bit of narration at the beginning.
Okay.
Because this is, within the context of the story, these are some toys that the main character has when he was a child, and he's reminiscing about them.
Okay.
So he talks a little bit about it at the beginning, but then you get to just sort of play through the...
Gotcha.
And from a kind of gameplay point of view, this was us sort of showing that you can do very platformy Twitch sort of style gameplay things. So it actually feels quite nice too.
Whereas the other themes aren't as platformy?
Yeah, so you've got the childhood one, which is a sort of mixture of platforming, guitar wielding, if you like, and the imp gameplay where you sort of do the tactile stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a combo of those, where this one is purely just platforming, and then the noir inspired one is more like sort of click and point adventure.
Are there certain like designers on the team that focus on different things? Like this is very much the brainchild of one level designer here?
Yeah, this was, I don't know where the science fiction came from it. It was probably Emily, wasn't it? Because I mean, the whole evolution of our story is pretty mad. It wasn't like, here's a blueprint for something we're going to make, let's make it. It's been very much a case of, here's something that we could try and make, and then we start making it and it's completely different. So we readapt it. It's very organic. And at one point, this was actually like 3 separate games, really. There was like the science fiction one, the noir one. But we always had this idea that we were going to interweave them somehow. So we gave them all a very similar story arc. And then we've sort of moulded them together and they've become one story now.
This is jumping ahead a fair bit from where we just were?
This would actually be the next part in this theme, but there would be other themes, scenes in between it, if you sort of mean.
Okay, the different themes popping in. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe the point and click adventure stuff you'd be going back to, and then you'd come back to this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Really though, is the action theme the most fun one?
It's the one that's most arcadey, I suppose,
Okay.
if you like.
Kids are gonna like it the most, is that?
Well, I've been trying it out on my son, and he likes the whole thing, really.
Okay.
The story's really cool. I really like the story, what we've got now.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, but it all works together. Yeah, but this is the one that's, if you're into your sort of Twitch platformy type stuff, this is the one for you, I think. And we're planning to do a whole bunch of little side levels as well. So we've got our main story, and then we'll have some separate, just like little arcadey games that are based on the themes, but they're more like just
kind of remixes.
Remixes.
Challenge mode.
Yeah,
type of stuff?
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Because how tough does the main story get for performing skills?
Not too hard. I've got so many games at home that I've bought, and I've never managed to get past the first 5 minutes. And I just think that's so annoying.
Okay, so the main story, think of it like, Mario story where the challenges are going to come from the end, from the bonus mode stuff. That's where if you really want to dive into the specifics.
The sort of one of the philosophies we've had with this and with Little Big Planet is we try and make the main path through the story achievable for normal people, but there's lots of side stuff off and secret bits that are much more challenging if you want to go back and do those.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's annoying that you're going to spend a bunch of money on a game and then you only get to see the first 10 minutes.
So a level like this, I know there's not a scientific number for it, but can you give some idea of how long it took people in the studio to create this entire level here?
Okay, so the first iteration of it would have been very white boxy, so not as pretty, just sort of the layout. And that's something that would probably typically take maybe a couple of days or a day or something. Depends on how sort of precious you are.
Right. It's just a matter of all the custom art assets. Like that's
yeah,
what
and then
really bogs it down.
And then the artists will come in and start making it look pretty, and then we get involved and give loads of feedback, and they have to go and start again and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you can put together a level really quickly in just like an hour, really. Okay. But obviously, because we're aiming for a AAA quality thing here, then we have to do annoying things like user testing and all that kind of stuff.
You've got to try, all this stuff, This part looks tough.
This is one of the trickier bits, actually. But right, okay, focus.
All right, here we go.
Let's wait for our moment.
I have faith in you, man.
Come on. Oh, there's a little hole there. I can hide in that hole. That's what I need to do, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I was still alive down there. Right, okay, let's do this.
The not getting past the 5-minute thing is starting to make sense here, Mark. There we go. Okay, we got it.
Now the question is, how do I get out again? Right,
you wait, and then you run to the right.
Yeah,
nice. Well done. How big is the story overall? Is there any way you can frame that for viewers?
Oh, in terms of time?
Yeah.
Because we're still working on it. It's hard to give you an exact figure, but it's looking to be about 2 or 3 hours, I reckon. If you blast through it.
Okay.
But if you go and hunt down all the secrets and things, then I don't know, that'll be more, I suppose.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But so it's not like hugely epic, but the main point of us is we want something that shows off the tool, and if you include the extra challenge modes, whatever you call them, then obviously that's more. And then you're going to have the whole community's worth of content to play as well. So
yeah, there's still an infinite amount of content in this thing. Yeah.
Sort of like a decent feature-length film or something, I suppose.
Yeah. So Mark, can you actually show us like how the level is made? Can we dive into like the behind-the-scenes tour here?
Yeah, let's have a little dive into there. So that's starting in play mode, and because I've given myself the powers, I can go into edit mode. I didn't actually make this level, so I don't actually know what's what in here. But you can see I can fly around, we can zoom out and see the whole thing here that's been constructed.
Can you go over by like those crazy worm things coming out of the wall and stuff? Like those
Where are
guys in
they?
particular, I want to see how this works.
So, where were they? Oh, there's one
There we go.
hiding in the thing. So if I unpause time, we might see a bit of movement. Now these things are probably not going to start moving until the character gets near them, I
Of
expect.
course,
So
okay.
let's just go into play mode and trigger them, maybe.
So when people buy the game, can they also look behind the scenes of any of the levels you guys have made?
We'll give away a few things,
Okay.
but our actual story, we're not going to do that, because the first thing that people will do is republish it as their own thing and publish the last level. Do you know what I mean? So we don't want people to sort of
Okay.
spoil it, but certainly the elements that we give away, you can just dive right in and pull apart all
Okay.
the all
Could
the
you see
logic.
that coming like later once people have played through the story mode, like 6 months after release?
Yeah,
something
possibly,
like that?
or maybe
Okay.
we'll just choose. We might just choose a few levels to give away, or
I
whatever.
think that's a really fun idea. I think it's so
Yeah.
fun to see like the high level behind the scenes for something you guys know so well. Can you dive back into edit mode here then?
Oh yeah, so if I go to edit mode now, so time is paused at the moment.
Okay.
and I
Can you
just
explain
unpause
any
it.
of these things we're seeing?
Okay, so all of these little blocks here are these essentially like how you make logic and things in the
Yeah.
game. So like that thing in particular there is a microchip. If I was to open up that microchip, it's probably got a whole bunch of other logic on it.
Oh my god.
So you got it's sort of like a modular programming system, if you like.
Yeah.
So there's a timer that's hooked up to there's a calculator that's doing some stuff and then triggering a keyframe which turns on player 2. So that's probably detecting whether you've got a second controller in or something.
Yeah.
Because I didn't make this level, I don't actually know. You've got things like, this is just a screen grade. So this lets you do sort of post-production stuff on the screen, so you can affect the brightness on the scene, contrast, and it's also got some funky effects in here. You can do things like glitch effects, and
Oh my god.
you've got all this kind of stuff that you can mess around with.
You understand, I think a lot of people watching this are just horrified when they see how complex this is. Like this is so much more than a lot of people expected, I'm sure.
I'm showing you like deep
Yeah,
dive
this
stuff
is
here.
fully
but-
down the rabbit hole.
But I mean, this is like to place one of these, and your level is simple. You just stamp it in, and we'll show it to you later. And then you've just got like, okay, I want my level to be, pixelated or something.
Oh, interesting.
So let's have it
okay.
like it's an old 8-bit game now. And then all of these different things on here, you can just adjust these sliders and leave them like that.
Yeah.
Or you'll see these little tabs that come out here. You can actually hook them up to Logic. So you could say, every time the drum beat plays in my tune, I want it to, do that or something.
Oh, gotcha.
So we'll show all that later. But
yeah. Yeah, keep flying around.
But
The
this
more you can
is-
dissect these little...
well, and for example, like one of the things that's unique about the tools is that you have all the different disciplines in one place. So the music tool exists in the same place as the scene editor, and like if I wanted to start resculpting something now, I can. Let's just pause it and let's take one of these assets here that someone's made, and I can just dive into this. Let's go into sculpt mode, sculpt mode, and then pick on this asset, and we can just start resculpting this asset now. And you can do things like hide the rest of the world to make it a little bit easier to work on. So
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's that particular asset, and
Yeah.
Clearly it's missing.
Now, would you
bit of
break the
that.
level if you just like sculpted that thing in front of the worms that are rotating around and they would just
It-
crash into it?
It would probably cause some problems.
Okay.
We can try it out if you like. See what
Yeah,
happens.
please.
But here, let's do something ridiculous with that sculpture there, like that. And then there we go. So
Okay, we're
that's
getting
already in
closer.
the way of us a little bit there.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, just to even show that, it's cool that when you sculpt stuff like that, you don't have to. Typically in game dev, you'd have like a sculpt that's made with polygons and things, but then you'd have to go and make a separate collision mesh for the physics,
Gotcha.
which is a lot simpler. But that's just annoying. So when you sculpt stuff in this, it's just automatically what you see is what it collides basically.
Right, right.
So in other words, that thing I just sculpted there, in theory, I should be able to just start navigating on that. It's
Yeah.
not the best position.
Obviously
for the
not
camera.
optimized.
But the point is, it's just I didn't have to think technically about what. Now I'm going to make a physics mesh for that.
Right, right.
Um,
Let's really break these worms, please.
all right then. Should I just shrink it and see what happens?
Sure.
Oh, that's all as one lump, so I have to dive in. There we go. We've got several. Let's just have a little itty bitty worm there. like
That's
that.
cute.
Let's see if we can actually still get across.
I don't think it's gonna work at all, man.
I've gone feeling it. I think it's gonna happen.
Still usable. Not quite.
No, no.
Oh, right in the belly.
Oh, no, they've got death fog down there.
Okay, what if you just put like some obstacle in their way?
Okay.
What would happen here?
You want to break it down.
I really want to break this thing.
That's-
I want to crash this PS4 if it's possible.
I'm just going to show you what happens if you have collidable objects that are intersecting, basically.
Yeah.
Just to give you, because I think that's what you want to see. So I can tweak this object and make it physical, like that. So now when I unpause the game, that should just fall to the floor now. Yeah.
Default physics.
Yep. But if I was to sort of have a bunch of these intersecting like this,
Right.
it's probably going to do something horrible.
Perfect.
Well, there you
Oh,
go.
that's awesome.
That's
Now
actually.
do that to the worm's head. That's what I'm getting at here, Mark.
I used that as a cheap trick for explosions, by the way. That's quite a good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just
Free
easy
movement.
popcorn.
Yeah.
All right, it's got a wall now. Nothing can go wrong. This worm's gonna go right into it. And oh,
Whoosh.
the wall loses to the worm. That wasn't part of the plan, man.
These worms have been set up very robustly, so they're always going to follow their path, whatever happens. That means there's less chance of bugs coming in when they start adding stuff to the scenery.
Right, it's a level about worms. You don't want bugs in here. Cool. Mark,
Cool.
thank you so much for showing off a couple levels from the story mode,
Yeah,
man.
no worries, pleasure.
And be sure to check out GameInformer.com/streams for a month of exclusive content covering Meeting Molecules game. Ooh. Cool. Thanks, guys.